Welcome to all of you. We are here for the webinar on the topic of history of global cinema. Before we move forward, I would like to welcome all of you and for the students some instruction that please mute yourself, uh, join with your name and department, and if any student found with some other name will not allowed in online class, so please CR ensure it that the student should be with their name and department. It will be better for them. And tell students, those who are joining now, that they should watch it on YouTube. We are live on it. So as I told you before, that you have to see and take notes and write a summary of maximum 350 words. Deadline also is here, 21st April 2001, and submission date will be announced later through CR. So as all of you know that history of global cinema, so here I am going to start this webinar. Welcome to all of you in this online lecture series. My name is Naveed Arshad Siddiqui. I'm a faculty member of Mass Communication Department in University of Karachi. The topic of today's lecture is history of global cinema. Before move forward, I would like to inform students few instructions. All of you mute yourself. Listen to the lecture first. Third, question answer session will be in the end. Last but not least, write your questions in the chat box. Well, our today's speaker need no introduction. Mr. Iqbal Jamil's involvement with public and private televisions spanned 3 decades. Besides this, he was the former head of Department of Mass Communication and Media Studies at Greenwich University. He is still teaching media courses in different universities and contributing his expertise in different platforms. In addition, he writes columns and news in daily newspaper. He is currently not only an editor of a newspaper but also a well-known digital media commentator. He has spoken at several conferences on topics related to media studies. Well, Mr. Iqbal Jamil Saab, you can start a lecture on your topic now.
Assalamu alaikum, dear students. It is my privilege to address you here, the student of Mass Communication and Media Studies. My area of lecture will be about what you call global cinema. Global cinema. You can't say who was the inventor, who was the first person to introduce global cinema. But the history starts from 1895 when two brothers, Augusto and Louis brother, Lumineous brother, was the pioneer of that. You can call it the global cinema. The first train shot, a train coming on the station, and a camera was installed that was shot by the Lumineous brother. And then again, people coming out of a factory was also a initial motion pictures, but a 12.11 second, 2 minutes 11 second movie. It has been called as the first movie. It was Round Hay Garden. When a girl is coming out, a lady is coming out on a garden and is talking with people. That was the first 2 minutes 11 seconds film, which is being known as the initial stages films. Thomas Edison used to be the pioneer in inventing cameras in cinematography. Well, then a movie came, A Trip to Moon, an expedition by astrologers. They want to see how moon was created and how it came into being. They went a trip to the moon. It was shot in 1902. It was shot in 1902 and became very famous. It was a fiction moving story. Director was George Malines. George Malines was director. But Lumine's brother was, in a way, the pioneer of filmmaking, the pioneer of using camera. They used to import camera and photographic film. It was the first invention by those people. Now, with the graduation, with the process of global media in late 19s, sound film came into existence. It was a very big invention. And then many people, many other directors came to that. So you can't say that there was one person. George Malines, A Trip to the Moon was the first movie. It has got a story. There was no sound into it. It has got a story, and they went on a expedition. And people used to also fight. Scientists used to fight also to go to that capsule to take them to the moon. And then the 19th century saw the start of great movies. When sound film came, Charles Chaplin was using slapstick, a kind of comedy in which you don't come with a dialogue and you only use your body. And he did it in a very tremendous way. In a very, very tremendous way. He was a very successful. Till now, many people used to copy him, but he was a real great invention. In 19th century, artistic and technical contribution started in films. There was 16 film, professional. 1920 to 1932, it is called an era. It is called an era where film industry came into boom. Very successful era. Commercial films also used to start it. The first commercial film was held way back in 1898 in a basement of a cafe when people purchased ticket in 1898, purchased ticket and went to the cinema hall. Well, 1920 to 1932 was the booming period when screens were installed and people used to commercially watch the movie in pubs, cafes. 1940, and then came the era when American Italian films were seen by people in very large number, and filmmaking in a kind started doing business, very great business, very great business. And then New Realism came after the First World War. New Realism is a kind of film in which stories on poor people were made. It was not fiction. Stories on downtrodden people. Stories on the people who walk on the streets. Director has no money to pay to big actors. So the characters were chosen among the people, among ordinary people who were not trained actor or who were not actor. That Neorealism movies made a huge success, It was so successful that many great directors adopted that, making films on an electrician, making film due to the rising prices, due to the catastrophe of war. They started making film on ordinary people's life. Ordinary people, a plumber, a security guard, There was very good movie during that period. Please watch it. The Bicycle Thief. Very good movie. So it was very after World War. It was very good expression of films. Visually created that. Now after post World War was an era where Second World War after, where directors came with idea of propaganda films. They filmed on propaganda. Propaganda for what? Propaganda, hatred against war. Europe, before World War II, loves to watch war movies and love to engage in fighting among themselves. Switzerland fighting with France, France fighting with Italy. So, after the catastrophe, when 80 million people died, Europeans came to understand that, oh my God, this is a dangerous thing. Then directors came out to make movies against war. And that is very important factor in turning the mindset of the politician and the ordinary people that war is a dangerous thing. It only devastates. Now, in the present situation, why? Europeans always used to talk about peace and tranquility and welfare. It was the movies which changed which changed that scenario. Neorealism on one side and propaganda movies. They have made so much movies that they have communicated in a very, very effective way that hatred for war has enhanced in the minds of ordinary Europeans, and likewise in Americans also. So many things. There's so many things to say. But due to shortage of time, I would like to say, but always remember that the era of 16 films was a great era. Please watch new realism movies. Now, if you talk about the contribution of Hollywood, I tell you honestly, it has done many great things. Many great things. It's in Los Angeles. Hollywood is the center, epic center of filmmaking in the world. All big distributors like Warner Brothers, Columbia Pictures, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, they are all Americans. And they have contributed a lot. They have given the world stories which have affected the lives of Hollywood. Hollywood movies are shown across the globe. Not movies from Russia, China, Japan are shown all over the world, but movies which are produced in Hollywood has a big landscape. Great actors and actresses evolved from there, and very, very great directors. Bollywood. Now, Bollywood, Bombay, Indian, our neighbor, they also has a tremendous scope in the film industry. 20 million people in India daily goes to cinema hall. 2 crore log. 20 million people. It is one of the very great upcoming industries. And it has challenged, in a way, Hollywood also. The first sound film of Indian cinema was Jhansi Ki Rani. Jhansi Ki Rani was the first sound movie. So many people are involved in it. Great. And now they have made very, very great movies which competed in the world, which competed globally. They are also very good in parallel cinema. Parallel cinema means art movies. They have given very good art movies. Why so? Why they have done it? Because they have got developed film institutes where actors, directors, script writers, cameramen were trained. They did it over there. So, in a way, you can call it, okay, they have done tremendously well. Then Lollywood, our cinema initially was great. Teri Yaad was the first Pakistani movie. After independence, Lahore was the center where studios were held. In Karachi, there was only one and two studio. One studio was Eastern Film Studio, and the other one was Modern Film Studios inside. Now they have converted into warehouses, जहां बोरियां रखी जाती हैं आटे की और चावल की. Lahore was the center. Badi Studios, Shahnoor Studios, Avenue Studios. Big. It was a big thing. All actors and actresses used to live. And 1960 to 1980, 85, late 80s, the cinema was very good. But not adopting to the requirement of the need, the cinema has collapsed. Ironically, we don't have good script writers. The tragedy was that we don't have good script writers. The tragedy was that we had lack of technicians. Irony was that we believed in Gandasa culture. No director wants to take risk on literature. Hollywood movies and Bollywood movies relied on their literature. But in Pakistan, that doesn't happen. We have got a very great period. Good movies were there. Good movies, good songs. But due to lack of education, directors not taking risks, it has deteriorated. Now, I would like to come to some of the great movies of our times. Now, number one is Gone with the Wind. It's called as movie of the century. Movie of the century. It was, I would like to request you, it is in black and white. It was on a love story on the background of American Civil War. Clark Gable was the actor. Great actor, please watch. Ben-Hur on one of the greatest movies. Charlton Heston was the lead role. One of the all-time great movies. Box office hit. Titanic, you saw it. The ship which was designed in a way that it will never sink. It went in first voyage and sank. The director of Titanic, James Cameron, visited 65 times to the wreckage to have a good look. Titanic, Rose was not there. But initially, Rose was not there, the lead character. But Rose, Kate Winslet, the actor, wrote and sent a bouquet of flower to James Cameron that she wanted to be the heroine of that film. Leonardo Vinci and Titanic made it. Mughal Azam, one of the epic drama of the Indian cinema. Great movie. One of the epic, I tell you honestly. Greatest of movie. Produced by Mehboob, directed by Asif, K. Asif. These are great movies. Mother of India was nominated for Oscar also. Nargis was in the lead role, whereas Rajkumar. And then Pakistani movie Arman, one of the greatest movies, one of the beautiful musical movies. The chocolatey hero Wahid Murad and Zeba was in the lead role. Very, 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 you can call it fine movie. Very, very romantic movie. And at that time, their pair was very great. If you talk about filmy songs, they are very good songs. Sound of the Music, very, very a movie on the background of war. Rita Tishingam played the role. The film has got 11 songs. India and Pakistan in subcontinent, we can't move around without songs. I tell you honestly, we can't move on without songs. कहते हैं कि पाकिज़ा का वो गाना जो है, चलते चलते अगर आप चलते चलते यूं ही कोई मिल गया, अगर आप गौर से सुने उसको तो ऐसा लगता है जैसे आप चल रहे हैं. Any questions from anybody here? I think
yes, we in the meantime, while you were giving your lecture, we received a few questions, and the first question is that what are the reasons for the collapse of the film industry in Pakistan?
Now, number one, it is not adopting to the current change in filmmaking, lack of educated people, and director not taking risks for good stories based on our literature. And then the Gandasa Punjabi culture. That culture had destroyed that. These are the main reasons. The directors didn't come up with good stories. We don't have a proper institute to train directors, photographers, actors, script writers, cameramen. Why India has gone ahead? Why Western countries? Rajesh Khanna, they all came from institute. One of the greatest, they are trained. Nasiruddin Shah, Om Puri, they are byproduct of institutions. So they made inroads. We have not a single institute in this country. And now people say it's on the verge of collapse. No, Pakistani cinema has collapsed now. Complete collapse. Cinema houses has been built into commercial shops and establishment. सारे सिनेमा हॉल को तोड़ के जनाब शॉपिंग सेंटर्स एंड प्लाजा बना दिए गए. कि कैसे होगा यार, जब स्क्रीन ही नहीं होगी तो क्या देखेंगे.
I just received one more question from a student that they would like to know that please tell us what could be the reason for the popularity of foreign films in Pakistan.
What is the reason for the popularity of foreign films?
Yes, the popularity of why the foreign content is so much popular in Pakistan rather than promoting our own stuff.
It's not quite substantial to say that. Not every content is accepted or liked in Pakistan. Some of the content just like it. Just you watch, everybody liked that movie Forrest Gump. Very good. It was a story about a child who was mentally handicapped. Well, Titanic was like. Avatar was like. Because now they have come to the animation and graphic designing. They are making inroads into it. It is attractive for the people. The storyline is good. The script is good. And actors are enormous good. They analyze scene by scene what to say and what not to say. Foreign films is popular in Pakistan due to these things. The quality and the script. That's the reason. The script is the main thing. I tell you. यहाँ डायलॉग बोल रहा होता है, एक बच्चा बोलता है तो लगता है कोई शहंशाह बात कर रहा है. मतलब रिलेट नहीं करता उसके मुंह से, उस छोटे मुंह से वो जुमले बड़े अच्छे नहीं लगते, लेकिन बुलवाए जा रहे हैं. जितनी सिंपलिसिटी होगी डायलॉग के अंदर, you will enjoy that. Like great movies have used to do. Cinema is not a teaching class. Cinema gives you entertainment in a better way so you can understand things. That is the problem with our cinema, and this is not the problem with the Western or Indian movies. They talk simply, in a simple way, as people used to talk in daily life.
Well, one more question, and I hope, I think this is the last one. The student want to know now, how do you see the future of Pakistani film industry? Any chance for regain its lost confidence?
In the next 10 years, no. No. Confidence in the next 10 years, no. No. Because why? Now, people have become very fast. Now, you have to develop an institute. You have to come up with good ideas and good stories. And you have to adopt the social media transformation. You have to adopt it. Now is the era of short films. Now is the era, dear students. If you want to make inroads, please go there. Short films. Please watch Midnight Cafe of Nasiruddin Shah. He is also coming in short film. 11-minute movie. 11-minute short film. The tempo of the world has gone very fast. Nobody wants to see 3 hours and sitting in a movie. With the coming up of Netflix and YouTube, people get access to that. So now, Pakistani cinema has to come. They had to come parallel cinema, and they had to do it. In the 10 years, I tell you, it's very difficult. In the last 10 years, balki 15 years, you've made only 2 great movies. Not great movies, but movies. They are also propaganda movies. Khuda ke liye and Bol. Otherwise, all movies were made, but not according to the standard. I tell you honestly, and it is a very, very sad affair. Really, I feel very sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Iqbal Jamil. On the behalf of Department of Mass Communication, University of Karachi, I would like to thank. You gave a very informative lecture on the history of global cinema. Once again, thank you very much for your precious time.
Thank you, Naveed Saab, and thank you, dear students. Please, there was short of time. I couldn't explain things in a better way, but I will try to do it. And Naveed, thank you very much for your time. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, so students, this is the end of today's lecture. Wait till next lecture, in which another speaker from media industry will share their experiences with you. Thank you so much for your patience and presence. Goodbye.